This is altar video part 2. So if you haven't watched the how to build a working altar video in my previous upload, maybe go back there and watch it if this is something interests you. This is an add-on from that. Now, the whole reason as to why I did such a deep dive into the new moon and how to build a working altar is because we are now moving through an evolutionary phase of what it is to claim our magic. I've been talking for such a long time about claiming your power and then proclaiming your power. Sekhmet tells us about it all the time. And now we have got to a certain level of self-worth, knowing thyself, really stepping into our power, because we really are in the latter stages of the 2024 year of transformation. So much has happened for each and every one of us. We're now at the point where we're like, hang on a minute. I remember how to harness my magic. I remember how to manifest, and I know how to do it practically, which is why I shared with you how to build your working altar, working with the deities of your choice. Mine is obviously very much Sekhmet, and obviously all of the goddesses from Avalon, and you can have a lot of fun, but a lot of manifestation power in that. And then, of course, weaving that in with the moon phases. I'm kind of like sharing it with you bit by bit. Now, the moon phases, I'm sharing them on the post section as we go throughout the month, and it will give you a guidance on where to go with your altar next. So you've built your altar, and if it is an abundance altar, okay, then of course, you know, you're going to know when to give your new moon wishes, which has just recently passed. We're still in that phase now. Saturday being tomorrow, you're going to start to go into the action phase just a little bit, bringing your ideas and your intentions, you know, and getting action based about it. You've got to step out there and do things. So I've done a very in-depth written post on what that is going to feel like and how to work with that and implement it into your altar. Now, I really felt that it was important to kind of like go into how many points have I got? 3 powerful points, which are going to be a good checklist for you as to what to watch out for, how to fine tune your manifestations, and how to work more in alignment with these altars that we're building, right? Because this is the month of manifestation. It's been eclipse month. So we're going to get our surfboards and we're going to ride with that. And I guarantee the conversations we're going to have at the end of the month, you are going to be like, wow, I can't believe it was that easy. We just had to step in and claim our power. That's all that's happening here. So we're remembering our kind of ancient selves as witches and warlocks and, you know, kind of priests and priestesses and all of this power and ancient wisdom that we had back then. We're now remembering it, ancient wisdom for modern day living. So that's all that's happening here. It's just bringing all of those powerful parts of self into one place, which is our current life right now. So this is why this month is so important. So I invite you to come join the movement, because I know there's quite a few of us that are building our altars and we're sharing as we go. And that in itself builds the energy as we create our altars, because we've opened a portal, right? I know I've got 2 portals open here. I'm sure you will have, or you already have. And then that's how we link together. So it's like, it's a big claiming of our magic and proclaiming of our magic, work like getting our back off the wall and actually doing something about it. And that just calms the anxiety down, because you're like, well, everything's fine. You know what I mean? I can change my reality. I can bring freedom from restriction, because I know how to do this stuff. So this is why altars, talking about this kind of stuff is really important. And I just want to chuck into the mix as well the importance of the witchy wound, which is another video I shared recently. Look, there are millions of people talking about this right now, because it's really up for the addressing of it, right? Because as you bring an altar into your space and you become like, you kind of get proactive with your altar and you start to work with it in a very positive way for a means to an end manifestation, you know, of course, this is going to trigger places where you've been small. And that's why I brought the witch wound or the witchy wound video into play. Now, you're going to find that there is a lot of energy that's going to come up with this big power play that you're going to do by creating your altar. By creating your altar, you're saying to yourself and the universe, I'm a player, I'm a contender, I'm doing this now. I ain't sitting back there because it's actually proving nothing except shadow and stress. And I'm stepping in, and I'm going to start my new way now, because we're moving into the new earth. So it is a big kind of like flex in a good way to the world, to yourself, that we're changing things now. We're doing it. So let me dive into my 3 points to remember while your altar is in play. Number 1, this is mastery of your magic, right? You've always been a master. You've just been too fearful to step in and kind of like own it, right? But we're doing it now. And we're not just being one of us doing it. We're doing it as a collective and a community right here on my channel. And we move together, because Marie's tribe, we move together. So mastery of your magic, right? You've opened a portal. So you're opening this altar. I'm looking now because mine's this is my you can't see it, but there is a altar for dispelling of fear, and it has Sekhmet, Hathor and Isis on there. So she's fired up and the candles are going and she looks rather beautiful. So this is like my mastery of magic. Now I've opened a portal here, right? So it's a bit like looking after and tending to a garden of beautiful roses. You can't just leave them to grow. Weeds could get in there, whatever. You have to tend to your garden. It's a bit like your baby, your child. You're not just going to leave them unattended, ongoing, and expecting them to be okay. You're going to make sure that you tend to this beautiful being that you have, nurture, love, look after. You know what I mean? So that's what your altar is all about as well, because you have opened a portal. So you need to make sure it stays clean. You need to make sure that you close it at the right times. You know, essentially closing it would be like when you've done your prayers and you blow the candles out. That's kind of like, you know, how it rolls. I always leave my candles burning. As long as I'm working in here, it's active. But if I leave the room and I go off for the day, then I'm going to close that portal. Do you know what I mean? And making sure that people don't go in there and fiddle with it and everything like that. It really is being responsible, being the custodian, the guardian of your portal. It's that responsibility that's really important. Responsibility for your mastery and your magic. Number 2, we are now moving in on Saturday to the waxing crescent moon. So we've now moved through the new moon, right? Or we're moving. And that was very much about getting your intentions and kind of like going, right, what are we doing here? Allowing consciousness to drop in and go, right, what is it that I really want to do here? So creating space and time for that to get quite clear. So this next stage, the waxing crescent, which usually comes in about 3 days to 7 days after the new moon. You don't have to be dead specific about it, but I've basically posted the next post for tomorrow, so you can read that moon phase. So that's about 3 days-ish after the new moon. You're going to start to step into action a little bit now. So now you've got to get your back up off the wall. So if you're working with the moon phases with your altar, which I suggest that you do, bringing in the power of Grandmother Moon. Oh my God, it's just like, I mean, that's Isis, that's Thoth, you know, it's Khonsu, it's all of there's so many moon goddesses and gods, right? So you're bringing all that power and energy in. So your manifestations are going to be popping off the planet, which is amazing. If you're going to work with it with the moon consciously and responsibly, right? So now this phase, you're going to have to start to take action. And as I say, this is the phase that will probably instill a little bit of failure, disillusionment. What's the point? Do I believe in myself? You start doubting, and it's a bit like, I don't want to do this. Do you know what I mean? But you have to be in it to win it. So what I've also put here as well, taking action is going to bring up a shadow or shadows. Your altar in this whole manifestation stage that we go through for the whole of the month cycles, it is going to bring up shadow. So like I say, zoom out. It's not literal like, please can I have a pot of gold? Thanks, Spirit. There you go. No, there's going to be so many moving parts to this. So you need to be open with your portal, open in your own being to be able to receive the lessons and teachings and the shadow that comes up. If you find resistance is now coming up because you're going into the second move phase with your altar, it's okay. It's a gift, not doom. You are not being doomed. It's divine. It is definitely divine. So if this shadow layer is coming up, it's because your God's goddess is the moon. Your altar has said, listen, this is what needs to go. So we take that shadow and we feed it to Sekhmet because she really, really loves feeding. She'll flare it up in the fire in her belly. You know what I mean? Or whomever you want to feed this to. But Sekhmet is definitely my lady who kind of just takes it all from me. So as it comes, work with your team. There you go. Up, purge. There you go. Keep clearing because your altar's going to bring you up layers that you didn't even know were there that needs to go. And you'll go, no wonder I've got to this moon phase and I'm feeling a little bit sticky and stodgy because some trauma happened in past lives or whatever. It doesn't matter. But that's why. Okay, well, let's clear that. Don't move away from it and ignore it. Work with it just as you would any other energy, like, I don't know, receiving the good vibes is like receiving abundance. And also as well, receiving like, you know, abundance is also the shadow. So start to look at it like that because it's all getting you to the temple on time to receive the fullness of your intentions, right? Then number 3, expect the unexpected, right? Even though you are saying, God, this is what I want to happen. This is what it needs to look like. Spirit will always come through to you with something way better than you decided. But because you're so pigeonholed and you're like, no, this is what it needs to look like, sometimes you're going to miss things, you're going to block things. So really be open, but you have to trust. You have to trust and know that you have opened this portal. You have activated your magic. Your magic is pure. You are such a powerful being. You're connected to spirit and source. You're all one. You're working together. And as I just said that, I just got a huge heart pop. They say yes. So like nothing is going wrong here. So if anything comes up unpreferred, it's because it was sitting in the shadow and it needs to be light now. So expect the unexpected, the same as you're like, well, that isn't how I thought it would look. It's going to be in process as it changes and it morphs. Instead of getting involved and being controlling and saying, no, like, that's not what I asked for. What's going on here? If someone comes in and they're not looking so great, don't worry, just follow the energy, because it'll be taking you somewhere, because eventually it'll take you to somewhere good. Or if you start to get sick, or if something goes on, remember everything is in for your highest good and for the highest good of all. So you will be releasing stuff that's in the way of your intention. But if it goes kind of like rogue, or you think is looking rogue, it's because spirit has a better idea. A way better idea. So like I say, it is so important to sit back and watch the movies, because all you need to worry about is, have you opened your altar with the highest frequency? Yes, you have, if you've watched my altar building videos. Have you tended to your altar and portal and made sure that you look after it like your baby, clearing it, giving incense, giving offerings, whatever? Yes, you have. Then there's nothing else to worry about. Hold a tight space in yourself and with your altar. Anything else that goes on and around that is ceremony, man. There's a beginning and an end, meaning there is a death and a rebirth. So expect the unexpected, be open to everything, and that is what your altar will be giving to you throughout the month of October. Whew, that was a lot. So with that being said, I'm going to leave it there. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know how you get on with your altars. I'm getting all sorts of communications from so many of us that are saying this is happening, that's happening. People are starting to channel and this is going on. So there's going to be so many other things that come beyond your intention. And you'll probably get to the end of the month and go, God, that's so far away from what I actually asked for. And it's just brilliant. So let's just see what that brilliance is. Thank you for watching. Peace.